We started meeting in 2010 and just were kind of reading plays together and talking about theatre and talking about our own work and getting guests in to talk about theatre, just to kind of to understand the craft more and to get better, really. And so we did that for kind of a year, and then there was this tragic event that happened a little... Was it in 2010? Last year. The New South Wales Premier's Literary Award was not granted because they didn't believe that there was a work of high enough value. And we thought that that was a little bit of an average decision. And so we decided that... as a protest, that we would celebrate the plays that were written that year anyway. And so we organised an event, and it was amazing. About 60 playwrights from around the state came to a little pub and kind of drank together, and it was just astonishing. Like, it's amazing how many playwrights I had never met and who had never met each other, and there was this kind of real buzz of community. And so... Then last year we decided to do it again with the Playwrights Muster, and there were 100 people. And then we just were like, well, let's do a whole month of that. Let's do a whole month where we invite the playwriting community to come together and to show work and to talk about work and just be reminded that we exist, I suppose, and that it's that we are all individual writers, but that we are part of a larger community.
So the project that I am writing for is something called I'm Not Sure I'm an Adult Yet, which is actually comes from a quote from Johnny Depp, which we took as kind of a springboard for a week of development that we did with 7 of us, which we called The Lockup. And that was 7 artists, not necessarily straight playwrights, 7 artists, people like myself who, I don't really do much other than playwriting, but there were also people that were devisers and dancers and people with, more music background, things like that, that we all got into a room together and just explored this concept of what it is to be an adult and the journey from being an adolescent into becoming an adult and what we think is a milestone of reaching an adult. Is it, necessarily having kids, or is it, and the changing nature of what an adult means. And so what we did was we had guest artists coming in and running sessions with us. It was very much, for someone like me, it was very much out of my comfort zone, which I knew going into it, and which was great. And I'm like, I'm going to be rolling around on the floor and I'm going to be doing all this kind of stuff. It's not me safely sitting behind my MacBook typing away, which was scary and great because I think it really unlocked our creativity. And we worked that week with Craig Eilert as a mentor. So Craig kind of oversaw what we were doing, and he was very much an observer and an outside eye, and when we needed guidance and when we needed to be pulled back on track, he came in and helped us shape the piece at the end. And what we did was we spent the week sharing stories, really. Sometimes we would sit around in a circle for hours and just springboard off each other and just remember all these things. Because I know coming into this, I thought, oh yeah, I've got a couple of stories I can share. And by the end of the week, I just wrote so much, and that we couldn't use all the material that we wrote. Not Sure I'm an Adult Yet will be a 40-minute piece. It will be a collection of scenes and monologues all strung together, performed by some of the writers, and yeah, it will. It's very much a work in progress. It's not going to be a polished show, but it's showing an audience. This is what a couple of artists locked up in a room for a week can come up with on this topic, and I think it's going to really tap into a lot of parts. It's going to be really interesting.
So NovemberISM is being held at Old 505 Theatre, and we were chatting with a couple of theatres when we decided that we wanted to do this. But we finally settled here. It's an artist-run space, so Kerry Glasscock, who runs the space, is an actor, and they just get it. They get the kind of challenges of independent theatre, and that it's not necessarily about making money, but that it needs to be a kind of well-resourced space as well. So, it's it's a beautiful, beautiful warehouse space, and we're really glad that this is where we've ended up. Yeah.